Hi Curious and welcome back. If any of you have little ones or maybe cousins or siblings, chances are that you have heard of or if not watched Paw Patrol. This cartoon about a 10-year-old boy and his group of rescue pups has swept the globe and made children across the world go crazy for it. And while for the most part it's just a feel-good kids show with jokes for the little ones and that they can snicker at, why has the show come under fire, especially last year, given that many children had fallen into the madness of the show? And how has this show and its creators benefited financially from it? What do we know about the new movie coming out this month that stars Kim Kardashian, Jimmy Kimmel, and Dax Shepard among others? Why has the cast received some criticism? And are there any negative subliminal messages in the show? Stay with us until the very end to find out all about this cartoon that made children around the world go crazy. But for now, before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, turn on the notifications, and subscribe to our channel so that you're up to date with all of the hottest celebrity gossip. Before we get into all the allegedly negative things about this show, let's find a little bit more about its origins. And the show was created by Keith Chapman, who previously worked on designing characters for the Muppets, and worked on other popular kids shows such as Bob the Builder and Fifi and the Flower Tots. So this show is produced by Spin Master Entertainment, and in the United States it premiered on Nickelodeon on August 12th of 2013. Even before its release, everything from the pups' names to sizes, breeds was carefully debated, and while in Chapman's original pitch the fur was detailed, in the end the character design was simplified and made more cartoonish. The premise of the show focuses on a young boy named Ryder who leads a crew of search and rescue dogs that call themselves, yes, and you guessed it, the Paw Patrol. Each dog has a specific set of skills that are based on an emergency service profession such as a firefighter, a police officer, or an aviation pilot, and together with the boy, they work to protect the shoreside community of Adventure Bay. Besides 10-year-old Ryder, the four-legged protagonists of the show are Chase the German Shepherd police dog, Marshall the Dalmatian firefighter, Sky an aviation pilot cockapoo, and Rocky the Schnauzer Scottish Terrier mixed breed handyman pup, and Zuma a Labrador Retriever who is an aquatic rescue pup, and Rubble the bulldog who is a construction working pup. Over the course of its 8 seasons and already renewed for the 9th, there had been much more characters joining the group, but we're not going to talk about each and every single one of them in this video. Some of you might have noticed just how much of a phenomenon this show has become, and surely that has some positive financial gain for its creators. Well, seeing that Keith Chapman lives in Monaco and drives an Aston Martin sports car while collecting millions in royalties each year from those cartoon pups that he drew in 2011, and who appears in more than 160 countries and speaks more than 30 different languages, it can safely be said how the show is a huge success. And according to a Bloomberg article, in 2018, Nielsen and Viacom estimated that this cartoon has generated about $7 billion in global retail sales, with an estimated $300 million being made on toy sales alone each year. So it's no surprise since the kids love this show, and there is plenty of merchandise ranging from toys to clothes to lunchboxes, a theme park ride at Nickelodeon Universe, a live stage show tour, and anything else a kid might want that parents spend their money on to make the little ones happy. And this show and its associated products have received many different awards and nominations from associations such as the Canadian Screen Awards and the Daytime Creative Arts Emmys Awards, and many had wondered what about this was so successful, and many people suggest that it could be the fact that the main characters are puppies, and which little child does not want one? So not to mention that prior to the show, there had been a handful of preschool programming hits since Sesame Street such as Peppa Pig, Blue's Clues, and Dora the Explorer, and while they were incredibly popular, they had not dominated the market, which in the end created a perfect opportunity for Paw Patrol to fill that void. But even this ever-growing revenue, income, and popularity among its young audiences, it seems that some people have had some issues with the cartoon pups, and one of the main issues that some people took on with the show was the lack of female characters. And in the original Paw Patrol, the only girl was Sky, who some argued was made in a typical feminine cartoon stereotype style, referring to the fact that she's much smaller than the other pups, and that her outfit is all pink, and that even her eyes being the same color, and argued that the depiction of women in the show sends a message to young audiences that in order to be accepted in a workplace, a woman must take on a traditionally feminine appearance. Though later in Season 2, Everest, a snow rescue husky pup, had joined the crew. Season 6 also saw Golden Retriever twins Tuck and Ella and were introduced, which saw another female character, and in the new movie, which we'll talk about more in a moment, brought in another one, a Dachshund named Liberty. So it could be seen as either the creators' response to these claims or that they simply had this planned all along. However, still playing on the topic of female characters, as well as adults, some parents had also taken issues with how they are portrayed on the show. For example, the female Mayor Goodway, who according to them seems to be portrayed as a bumbling fool who is singularly obsessed with her purse chicken, Chickaletta, who only seems to cause her more stress, and not to mention that in the moments of crisis, she will often panic and a male character has resolved that issue at hand. But as some pointed out, the other adults, and Annie Better for example, Mr. Porter is a reckless driver putting his grandson's life in danger, though there is the argument that it's just a kids show and it's supposed to be fun and whimsical and can be used. But as you know, Curious, there is no pleasing everyone, and others had taken an issue with the fact that the 10-year-old character of Ryder, who despite being a child, never goes to school, and the fact that he's allowed to have so many dogs. And adding to this, the show doesn't seem to have any clear lessons for the kids watching, especially since the key demographic of the show are ages 2 to 4. But then again, does every single thing need to be educational and not just fun? It can be argued that the show doesn't show any harmless for their future audiences, but there's nothing wrong with it. Though, in the light of last year's Black Lives Matter protest that took place across the country following George Floyd tragically losing his life at the hands of the police, and if you want to know more about this case and what happened in the year since his passing, you can check out our previous video by clicking on the link above. But there has been another controversy in the world of Paw Patrol, and as you can imagine, that surrounds the character of Chase, who is the police dog, and in the show he is presented to the audiences as the leader of Paw Patrol, and as some had commented, his only qualification to be an authority figure is that he is the police dog. It's a little unclear to what other qualifications should be required of a cartoon dog, but alas, let us continue. Some internet users took to the issue that as having a police dog presented as the obvious leader and authority figure on their missions, despite some other things being more suited to the task at hand, teaches the young and impressionable audiences that the police are unquestionably the authority in our society, which in the light of the events of last year could be a dangerous thing, and that is sort of subliminal messaging, and it's not a good thing. Though people finding subliminal messages in kids movies is nothing new. The popular kids movie Happy Feet was called shameless eco propaganda, while The Secret Lives of Pets has been called a metaphor for racial oppression. Though with this show, things had gotten so bad that people called for the removal of Chase from the cartoon or for the show to be cancelled. And when the official Paw Patrol Twitter account took to social media to voice their solidarity with Black Lives Matter movement, they had made a post on their Twitter that had read, "In solidarity of the hashtag Amplify Melanated Voices, we will be muting our content until June 7th to give access to Black voices to be heard so we can continue to listen and further our learning." And this had some people in the comments to read their voice of their opinions. Now, while some of them clearly were jokes calling for the show's cancellations, others seemed to be genuine, and one user wrote, "You've already brainwashed a bunch of kids into thinking law enforcement is noble, and it's just a profession. Better to scrap production forever if you want to make lasting change." And while others wrote simple replies such as defund Chase, and while at the time, former press secretary Kayleigh McEnany, in a speech about Donald Trump's dislike of cancel culture, had said that the beloved children's cartoon has been cancelled, and that clearly hasn't been the case, as in February of this year it was renewed for a 9th season, with a movie coming out in a matter of days. But as with everything, even the movie itself had some slight negative comments, though nothing on the scale of the character of Chase. And the reason some didn't agree with something in the movie, well, that's the fact that none other than Kim Kardashian will be voicing a poodle named Dolores. While in one way this will be a great way to get more audiences into the cinemas by having the famous reality star in the movie, some weren't so convinced, and there had been some concerned parents who took to social media to say that maybe a Kardashian sister who rose to fame thanks to her adult video that leaked isn't the best person to appear in a kids cartoon. And however, in recent years, Kim herself has been focusing on growing her business, wanting to be a lawyer and making a change, and being a mother herself, and those days of scandals seem to be behind her. The movie, which is set to be released on August 20th, follows Ryder and his pups heading into Adventure Bay to try and defeat their biggest rival, Humdinger, who has started wreaking havoc as the mayor. The beloved characters are decked in brand new gear, which will surely have their children begging their parents to buy them all the brand new and updated toys that they are sure soon to follow the film's release. But along with a brand new adventure and some brand new characters, the movie also features a star-studded cast. Besides the aforementioned Kim, other stars include young Sheldon's Iain Armitage, Dax Shepard, Jimmy Kimmel, Randall Park, and Yara Shahidi, who is set to play Tinkerbell in a new movie in Peter Pan and Wendy, who is in the center of some controversy herself, which you can find out by clicking on the link above. So curious, what are your thoughts about the controversies surrounded by this beloved kids cartoon? Do you think people had the right to be mad about the fact that there was a lack of female characters? Was the outcry about the character of Chase justified? Are you or a member of your family a fan of this cartoon? And do you plan on watching the movie? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.